December 4th, 1971. The Arabian Sea lay silent under the dark night sky. But beneath those waters, the Indian Navy was about to strike a blow that would change the course of the Indo-Pakistan War forever. This was Operation Trident, the daring assault that set Karachi's coast ablaze, crippled Pakistan's naval power, and rewrote maritime warfare in South Asia. Tensions between India and Pakistan had reached their peak in 1971. Across the eastern border, in what was then East Pakistan, a brutal civil war raged. Millions of refugees had poured into India, escaping violence and persecution. In response, India decided to intervene militarily. On December 3rd, Pakistan launched airstrikes on Indian airbases, Amritsar, Pathankot, Srinagar. It was the formal beginning of the 1971 Indo-Pak War. Within hours, India declared a state of war. But in the West, the Indian Navy had a bold plan brewing. The objective: cripple Pakistan's main port city, Karachi, home to its naval headquarters, oil reserves, and trade lifeline. Operation Trident was born. In the first week of December 1971, the Arabian Sea looked deceptively peaceful. But far from its calm surface, inside the naval headquarters at Mumbai, a storm was brewing. Vice Admiral S.N. Kohli, a man of quiet authority, stood before a wall-sized map of the Indian Ocean. Beside him, his senior commanders traced routes, distances, and coordinates with pencils and compasses. Every red mark on that map represented risk and opportunity. Their mission was ambitious, almost reckless: to strike Karachi, Pakistan's most fortified naval base and the beating heart of its economy. The challenge: do it from hundreds of kilometers away, undetected, and without losing a single ship. No aircraft carrier, no large fleet, just 5 small ships and a handful of men with unshakable resolve. Commander Babru Ban Yadav, head of the 25th Missile Boat Squadron, entered the room. His crew, young, lean, sunburnt sailors, waited in disciplined silence. Vice Admiral Kohli turned toward them. Kohli, commanding tone: "Gentlemen, the enemy believes Karachi is untouchable. Let's prove them wrong." The room fell silent. Someone exhaled sharply. Another adjusted his cap. They knew what this meant. No rescue, no backup, no second chances. The chosen strike group, codenamed Killer Squadron, consisted of INS Nipat, led by Commander Yadav himself; INS Nurgat, commanded by Lieutenant Commander Indrajit Sharma; INS Veer, commanded by Lieutenant Commander Om Prakash Mehta, with support ships INS Kilton and INS Catchall, providing radar cover and fuel. Each missile boat carried 4 P-15 Termit missiles nicknamed the Sticks, sleek, silver, and deadly. Each missile could destroy a ship in one hit. But the Osa-class boats had a problem. They weren't designed for long voyages. Their range was short, fuel limited. They could strike, but they couldn't loiter. So the plan was delicate: in, strike, and vanish. On December 2nd, the crews worked through the night at Mumbai's naval dockyard. Fuel lines hissed. Ammunition crates were loaded. Engineers checked every system twice. The missile tubes gleamed under dim floodlights. A sailor scribbled in his diary, "Tomorrow, we sail into history, or into fire." By dawn, the killer squadron was ready. December 4th, 1971. 4 p.m. 5 vessels slipped quietly out of Mumbai harbor. No fanfare, no goodbye waves. Only the sound of engines blending into the sea wind. They sailed southwest, hugging the darkness. Every light on deck was turned off. Radio silence was enforced. No one spoke unless absolutely necessary. They were sailing into enemy waters, where a single radar ping could mean death. Commander Yadav stood on the bridge of INS Nipat, binoculars in hand, scanning the horizon. He knew Karachi's coastline was heavily guarded. Patrol boats, radar posts, aircraft, all watching. But tonight, the sea would be their cloak. Inside the missile boats, sailors sat cramped in narrow corridors. Some cleaned their weapons. Others wrote quick letters home, letters that would only be posted if they didn't return. The galley served cold tea and ration biscuits. One sailor joked quietly, "If we make it back, I'll never complain about food again." Laughter broke the tension for a brief moment. Outside, the Arabian Sea stretched endlessly, black and infinite. At 10:30 p.m., radar operator Sub-Lieutenant Oberoi on INS Nurgat spotted something. Oberoi, "Sir, unidentified contact, 40 kilometers northeast, speed 20 knots. Commander Yadav's eyes narrowed. He gave a slow nod. "Yadav, that's no merchant ship. That's war steel." The radar confirmed it. A large Pakistani destroyer, PNS Kibar, heading east. Yadav's voice cut through the silence. "Yadav, prepare missile systems. Target locked." At 10:45 p.m., he gave the order that would ignite history. "Yadav, fire one missile." The first Styx missile left INS Nurgat's deck like a streak of lightning. For 30 seconds, there was only silence. Then, a blinding explosion on the horizon. The missile struck PNS Khyber amidships, tearing it apart. Secondary explosions followed as fuel tanks ignited. On board the Khyber, chaos reigned. Sailors screamed orders. Fires roared through compartments. Their distress signal was misinterpreted by Pakistani command. They thought it was an air attack, not a naval one. As the destroyer sank, the crew fought desperately. But the sea was merciless. Over 200 men went down with the ship. The first Pakistani warship was gone, and Karachi didn't even know who struck it. Minutes later, INS Nipat's radar caught another target, a merchant vessel, the MV Venus Challenger, carrying ammunition to Karachi. Yadav didn't hesitate. "Yadav, fire 2 missiles." Both missiles hit. The ship split into 2, its cargo detonating into a fiery mushroom cloud that lit the sea for miles. Then, INS Veer reported contact on its flank. Another vessel, smaller and faster. It was PNS Muhafiz, a minesweeper. Lieutenant Commander Mehta locked on and fired. The missile hit dead center. The Muhafiz disintegrated. There were no survivors. 3 ships destroyed in less than 2 hours. The Indian fleet was still undetected. As the horizon glowed orange from the burning wrecks, Commander Yadav made his boldest move yet. He turned the squadron toward Karachi harbor itself. At 11:45 p.m., the city's faint lights appeared on the radar. The enemy's heart, within missile range. Yadav, firmly. Target, Kiamari oil tanks. Fire at will. 2 Styx missiles launched. Seconds later, the night sky over Karachi exploded. The oil tanks erupted in an inferno so large that residents in Karachi thought the city was under aerial bombardment. Flames leapt hundreds of feet into the sky. The blaze would burn for 3 days. With their mission complete, the killer squadron turned south, racing home. But now Pakistan's Air Force had realized something was terribly wrong. Jets scrambled from Masrur Air Base, sweeping the sea in panic. Searchlights scanned the waves. Commander Yadav ordered radio silence. The ships went dark again, invisible ghosts in the night. For hours they zigzagged through the black waters, avoiding detection. Fuel ran dangerously low. INS Via's engines began to sputter, but luck and discipline carried them home. By dawn on December 5th, the fleet was back within Indian waters, tired, smoke-streaked, and silent, but victorious. As the sun rose over Karachi, the full horror emerged. Thick plumes of smoke towered above the harbor. Oil still burned on the water's surface. Charred remains of ships floated aimlessly. Pakistan's naval command was in disbelief. Their radar logs showed no enemy aircraft, no submarines, no warnings. How could this have happened? It was the perfect naval ambush, invisible, precise, and devastating. Within 24 hours, Pakistan's entire Western fleet retreated into harbor. Their fuel reserves were destroyed. Naval operations virtually halted. India had achieved total sea dominance in a single night. Operation Trident became a textbook case in naval strategy around the world. It showed how agility, intelligence, and daring could defeat larger forces. A week later, the Indian Navy struck again, Operation Python, hitting Karachi a second time, cementing control of the Arabian Sea. For their valor, Commander Yadav received the Mahavir Chakra, and his officers were decorated with gallantry awards. Every year, December 4th is celebrated as Navy Day, honoring those who sailed into the dark and came back legends. The night Karachi burned wasn't just a victory. It was the moment the Indian Navy announced its arrival on the world stage.